Hello, independent voter, old and computer illiterate. I call this one America Where We At. Right now, with the shooting of the National Guards, there's all this violence going on. And I'll just say this people that are paying people to be violent in these organizations, they need to be arrested. The youth of America is so lame and ignorant. Now, I blame this on the Department of Education. I read somewhere that President Trump wants to abolish it, and I'm totally with that. I was out of school. We had rifle clubs. Nobody was shooting each other. We didn't need metal detectors. The Department of Education should have never been established. Education should be given back to the states, just like abortion was. When I was growing up, we questioned everything. We had freedom of speech where we would have a civil conversation, but that was taken away from us in 8 years by that empty suit, half a homie, punk ass bitch who's still going around the world talking shit. Will somebody tell him he's not president anymore? The president should invoke the Hatch Act. And what I read a couple of weeks ago, I asked people to comment if this was true. But if Barack Hussein Obama was getting a royalty from Obamacare, he needs to go to jail. Don't you get it? That's a payoff from the insurance companies. That empty suit, half a homie, punk ass bitch. You got to get insurance, or if you don't pay for insurance, we're going to fine you, but we're going to give it to illegal immigrants free. Do you realize how messed up that is? I don't care what party you're from. Do you realize that guy? I know they called him this, and it's kind of true. He was a Trojan horse. Gave Iran billions in cash. He was the worst thing that ever happened to this country. But it was him. The three former presidents before President Trump were the setup. They slowly took away our rights. First was former President Bill DeGeneres, political correctness. What, I can't have an opinion because it might offend you? I don't give a fuck if what I say offends you. I care less than nothing. You get an opinion, I get an opinion. That's the way it works. But ever since that empty suit, half a homie, punk ass bitch, now we can't even have a civil conversation. Because if I don't agree with a Democrat now, I become their enemy. Do you realize how ignorant that is? But Bill DeGeneres, political correctness, first attack on my freedom of speech. Next comes in warmongering W. Starts a war. The Iraq war was totally unnecessary. That had nothing to do with 9/11. And there were no weapons of mass destruction. We needed a new enemy. And Islamic fascists were the perfect useful idiot. And then came Barack Pussy O Jerkoff, former president. I knew he was going to be a problem from the speeches. I'm going to spread the wealth. This guy was promising shit that it was ridiculous. And I was watching all these young people cheering him on because he's black. You can't hire people according to their race. In America, we reward excellence. You don't get the job because of your race. You got to be qualified. So in conclusion, when I get up to the 5-minute mark, I realize that our attention span, because of this screen you're listening to me on, is short, and that sucks. So in conclusion, I want all illegals out. I want the people that paid people to protest and be violent to be arrested. I don't want any wars. I want peace, and I want every able-bodied person to have a job. Thank you for listening.